Tuesday, next week Tuesday, but unfortunately I will not be able to do that. So uh, that's why I requested you to have a class today. We're still waiting few more minutes to let the other students join our class as well. Uh, at the same time, maybe we can discuss about what we have had in our offline videos. So do you have any questions? Please let me know. Wa alaikum salam. Welcome to class. So I have uploaded two lectures basically. The first one, you're welcome. All right, thank you very much. The first lecture I already discussed with you is about the introduction to network security. The second lecture is about the symmetric and message confidentiality. I have already uploaded to the system the video and also the slides. So if you have access to that slides, should be fine. Otherwise, please let me know if there is any problem and issue. So again, if you have any question about the different type of, we have discussed about the brute force attack over there. We have seen the facial encryption and decryption using the 16 round. Some of the elements we have discussed. We have looked at the three block cipher encryption algorithm. That is a symmetric, and we have symmetric, and we have asymmetric algorithm. So if the sender and receiver use, if for the encryption and decryption we use the same key, we call it symmetric. If we use different key for encryption and different key for decryption, we call it asymmetric. Wa alaikum assalam. Three type of symmetric algorithm like data encryption standard, which is a DES. Uh, the next one is the advance of the DES, which is a triple DES. And the third one, which is the advanced version, is the advanced encryption standard, or AES. So we have discussed about these three algorithms in details, how long time will take for attacker to try to attack to the system. If they try to use a kind of, for example, with the GPU, a good computer, maybe they will be able to crack our algorithm. Anyway, we have discussed about this all algorithm, so it would be my pleasure. If you have any question, we can discuss anyway. All right, we have completed these two lectures. The next offline video I will upload it to the system probably by this week. So meaning that we will complete three lectures from these slides. The third one will be public key. The third one will be public key, cryptography, and message authentication in chapter 3. All right, so we will discuss about these things in more detail.
Good afternoon, doctor. Actually, I have a question.
Yes, someone. Yes,
Did you upload the last offline lecture last day?
Yes, good afternoon. Yes.
It's actually I didn't get the chance
I
to see
think last night,
the
if
lecture.
I'm not
So
mistaken.
if you could
Let me
please
check.
upload the next offline lecture earlier, so we could
I
all
see.
see the lecture for the. Thank you so. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure, sure. Actually, I have to upload this offline next week. You know that? Because your class is on Tuesday and we had 2 weeks holiday. You know that, right? So the first online class was on the 3rd of Esfand. The first offline was 17. So meaning that today is the first offline class. So I supposed to only upload one, but I have uploaded two already for you guys, right? So meaning that it's really early. I mean 1 week earlier, all right? Yes, it is already in Darsa, and your friend is correct. The reason I show you the slide is just I wanted to share with you that the slide have been uploaded to the system already. Excuse me. So today I supposed to, because today we supposed to have offline class. Today I supposed to upload only the first lecture. All right. So the second lecture I supposed to upload it next week, 24th of Esfand, 4 to 6 p.m. But I have already uploaded last night. So you can go through it, and then if anything we can discuss. No worries. I will try to upload the slides earlier for sure. Any more questions? That is good. At least we clarify. Okay. All right. So in the third lecture that maybe by next week, I supposed to upload it, the third offline class after the Iranian New Year. All right. So the third offline class supposed to be on 23rd Farvardin. But since we have a few, holiday, I think 2 days holiday, and we start our class 1 week late, I will try to upload as much as possible. At least you can complete before we're reaching to the end of the semester. No problem. All right. That is about the third lecture that I will upload it to the system. So we will discuss about the key distribution, authentication, network access control, and so on and so forth. That is about the offline video. So now let's look at the online classes. So today we're supposed to go through the lecture 2, okay? The chapter 2 of the CCNA version 2, all right? So, but here, before I go through this one, because I have received a lot of, no, after New Year. So I don't want to disturb you during this New Year and holidays. But what I will do, let me explain. I will complete my explanation, then definitely your question will be answered, okay? If I want to go through the lecture 2, as you can see, some of the students also requested that they are not familiar with the packet tracer, and then the basic things also they don't know. So I have prepared a set of PDF files, maybe around 24 or 26 PDF files, that some of them we will go through it today quickly. And then in these all files, I will upload it to the Darsa. And please download it and go through all the slides if you can. Make yourself ready after the holidays, after the New Year. Okay? So in chapter 2, we want to see how basically we can secure the network devices. The chapter outline is introduction, securing the device access, assigning the administrative roles, monitoring and managing the devices, using the automated security features, securing the control plane, and finally we will have the summary. So let's start with the securing the device access. So what will happen at the end? You will be able to explain how to secure a network perimeter, configure the secure administrative access to Cisco routers, configure the enhanced security for virtual logins, and also you will be able to configure an SSH demo for the secure remote management. So no worries. Before we start, or maybe few slides I will share with you, then I will stop and I will go through that PDF that I've already prepared for you. Okay. So here, if you can see, we can secure the network infrastructure. Basically, if we look at the edge router security approaches, we have an approach like single router approach. In the single router approach, we have only one router, edge router, and then it connect our LAN or local area network to the rest of the world or to the internet. All right. So we have only single router here. If we look at the second type, which is the defense in depth approach, So we have more than one router as an edge router, okay? And then we can have firewall in between, and definitely we can make our network more secure compared to the first one. And if you look at the third approach, which we call it the DMZ or DMZ, so the DMZ, we will create another local area network that I will explain it to you in the next slide, and let the other people from the outside have access only to the DMZ. That is the main basically idea of having the DMZ. So you can have a firewall enabled and do not let any access from the internet to go to your LAN 1, because you want to make your LAN 1 more secure compared to the other devices, for example, right? So what is DMZ? They call it demilitarized. So the reason they call it demilitarized, I have explained it here at the end. So the demilitarized zone is a physical or logical subnet that contains and exposes an organizational external facing services to an untrusted, usually larger network such as internet. Okay, so we call it DMZ or demilitarized zone. So what is the purpose of having this DMZ? Basically, by using the DMZ, you are adding an additional layer security to your organization LAN. And the external network node can access only what is exposed in the DMZ. So they cannot have access to the LAN, for example. So what you can do, you can firewall the rest of the organizational network. Let's say you have a very important data, or you have something that you don't want anyone else to have access to it. You just put it on your LAN 1, for example, and make it firewall. So the DMZ functions the DMZ functions as a small, isolated network positioned between the internet and the private network. So the DMZ is somewhere between the internet and the private network or local area network. So the reason they use the demilitarized, because the demilitarized zone is an area between the states in which military operations are not permitted. Okay, so that's why they call it demilitarized zone or DMZ. Okay, that is the third approach. So let's look at the three areas of router security. The first one is the physical security. You have to put your switches, routers in some places, you have to lock it physically, and you do not let everybody to have access to your physical access to your switch and router. So that we call it the physical security. The second one is a router operating system and configuration file security. So how basically we can make our OS and our configuration file secure. Okay, that is the second one. The third area is the router hardening. So the router hardening is the process of doing the right things for the network security. And the goal is to enhance the security level of infrastructure. So what kind of configuration you are going to do and how basically you are going to secure your network. All right, that we will see in more details later. Yeah, I don't know in Arabic. I hope it's correct. Al-mantaqa muhayyada. All right. Okay. So let's look at the task for the securing the administrative access. Right. So we will see the basic configuration first before we get to the advanced level of the security configuration in CCNA Security version 2. The task is, for example, to restrict the device accessibility, log and account for all access, authenticate the access, authorize the actions, present the legal notification, and ensure the confidentiality of data. You know what is the difference between confidentiality and integrity, right? The confidentiality means nobody should understand what you have basically saved, or what you have in your file, or in your data. That we call it confidentiality. Integrity meaning that no one should be able to change the data or alter the data. That we call it confidentiality. Integrity. So if someone is the eavesdropping or listening to your conversation, if listening to conversation, basically the confidentiality is under attack. Okay? Yes, the PDF is in Darsa already. This PDF after the class I will put it. So let's look at how basically we can secure the local and remote access. So for the local access, you have a PC with terminal emulation software like PuTTY or Teratem or any other programs that you install on your PC, and then you have a connection to the router through the console port. As you can see here is a CON. CON is the stand for console. AUX is auxiliary port. Okay. We don't have too much time, Nijla. I really want someone to translate, but the problem is, let me finish my lecture first. I guess, I don't know, do you want me to speak in Persian or Farsi? Can you understand Farsi better than English? I don't know. I feel that I have to speak English. I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to speak Persian. I don't want to speak Farsi. I accepted this teaching this subject because of the English language. Okay. So here, as you can see, we have auxiliary port, we have console port, and we have VTY, which is stand for virtual line, which is a virtual teletype. Okay. So later you will get to know. If I let somebody to translate for each slide, then it will be very difficult. I did not say anything so far. This one is all in the slide, you see? Everything is in the slide. No need to translate. You can look at the slides. You will understand whatever I'm saying. Or yes, it's okay. Maybe someone want to, in brief, who want to translate? Is there somebody wants to translate?
والله ما أنت سلام دكتور. I can translate very quickly. Yes, I can translate very quickly.
Wa alaikum assalam. Okay,
Yes,
you can make
thank you
it
very much, doctor.
quick. All right, no problem.
Sorry, what you are...
Oh, you
Okay.
want me to continue now, or you want to
Continue.
translate now? Okay, let me
Okay,
go through it.
doctor. Thank you very much.
Whenever you want to translate, you just speak up. Okay? All right. Thank you. All right, here we have the, let's look at how basically we can secure the local and remote access. Local means directly you connect the PC to the router. We call it local. You have a switch, you have a router, you directly connect the PC using a cable, which is a console cable. Here we have the console line, we have auxiliary port, and also we have the VTY, which is a stand for virtual teletype. This is a kind of virtual line. So later we will see how basically we can enable the VTY to let the computer have remotely access to the switch. So that is a VTY. Can you see that here? This is a remote access using Telnet. All right, or SSH. Later we will see. Normally we can use the Telnet protocol or SSH protocol, but we do not advise you to use Telnet because Telnet is not secure
Thank you
enough,
very much. هنا
and we will try to
الطرق
use
المستخدمة
SSH.
لتأمين الاتصال عن
Could you
بعد.
please translate?
هنا اللوكال اكسس الاتصال المحلي. الشغل هنا الراوتر راح يكون يتصل اكو طرق مختلفة لاتصال الراوتر مع الحاسبة. فهنا يكون الاتصال اما عن الفي تي اي بي وهو معناها الفيرتشوال، يعني الخطوط المرئية للتمكين، تمكين اتصال الراوتر بالحاسبة. الاول واحد هو الفي تي في، معناها الخطوط المرئية لاتصال الراوتر بالحاسبة. والثانية اللي هو الاكون والاكس، انواع ثانية من اتصال الراوتر بالحاسبة. هذا الاتصال المحلي. اما الاتصال بالراوتر عن بعد، فهذا يكون طريقة يتصل بها الراوتر عن بعد أو خلال مقوي إشارة أو رابط إشارة، لكنه يكون غير مؤمن. المعلومات تكون بغير مؤمنة للوصول لهذا الراوتر. Thank you very much.
And then you can have access to the, for example, using the auxiliary port. This one is very old one, so we don't want to discuss about it. So the VTY stands for virtual type. We have to enable the VTI line if you want to have access remotely to your router or switches. So this is a kind of dedicated management network. So you have the internet using the defense in depth. So we have router 1, we have router 2. In the between we have firewall, and then here we have LAN 1, LAN 2, and you can have the dedicated network also. This is another LAN, we call it management LAN. So the administration host and the logging host, you can put it on your management LAN. So later we will see how basically we can make a different type of LAN in our network. All right.
هنا الاتصال باتصال
Okay,
المحلي وانواع
please go ahead
الاتصال
if
عن
you
بعد.
want to translate.
هنا اذا كان عندنا هنا راوترين وكيفيه راح يكون جدار حمايه بيناتهم، طريقه اني شلون راح يتصلن بيناتهم عن طريق الانترنت، وهاي الشبكه المحليه الاولى والشبكه المحليه الثانيه، وكيفيه اتصال الراوتر الثاني بالادمن الرئيسي، ويستخدم تعديل الشبكه حتى يقدر الراوتر ان يتصل ببقيه الحواسيب او بقيه الانترنت او بقيه الشبكات المحليه. فهنا راح تكون عبارة عن administration host الأدمن الرئيسي، والثاني هو عبارة عن المضيف اللي يستضيف الشبكة من خلال الراوتر الثاني. مثل ما قلنا الانترنت عبارة عن هنا راوترين بينما جدار حماية، فالراوتر الثاني راح يتصل بالشبكة المحلية الثانية والشبكة المحلية الثالثة، والأدمن هو اللي راح يعدل الانترنت بيناتهم. Thank you very much.
All right, now we will look at the how to configure the secure administrative access. So this slide is basically how you can go for the strong password. It's quite obvious if you look at the slide. So we have to use a password length of 10 or more characters, include a mix of uppercase, lowercase letters, numbers, symbols, and spaces. Avoid password based on easily identifiable pieces of information. And also you can misspell a password. For example, if your name is Smith, if you want to use your name as password, maybe you can use SM, instead of I you use Y, and instead of S you can use 5. So, and Y maybe you can make it as a capital letter, for example. So if you look at your password, you can remember Smith. It's kind of Smith, but it's not really Smith. So that is much more stronger than simple Smith. Change password often. That is very important, because some of the what you call it, the password cracker or some kind of brute force attack maybe will take about sometimes 1 day, sometimes 1 week to crack your password. So basically, if you change your password often, so normally it will be very difficult for the attacker to use a kind of brute force attack or different type of attack to crack your password. Do not write your password down and leave them in obvious places. Okay, that is important. So let's look at the table below. We have weak password, like secret, like Smith, like Toyota, like Bob 1967, like different type of password. That's all very weak password. And we have kind of strong password, like B67, N42, and even more stronger than that. You can go for this password, for example. Okay, so that is how basically we can choose a different type of strong password. I think this one no need to translate. So the next slide we will look at how basically we can set the configuration. Now we reach to the Cisco commands. All right. So let's start with. Don't worry about this one, okay, guys. I will explain a little bit. Then I will go back to the beginning, or I will share with you some PDF slide, and you will learn from the beginning, okay? So from the
Yes, thank you
scratch.
very much دكتور.
You
هنا
don't worry
الوصول
at
إلى
all
أوامر
about it.
سيسكو مثل ما شرح الأستاذ
Could you please
بالمحاضرة،
translate
إنه
again?
كيفية إنه نربط الراوتر، كيف إذا كان جدار حماية، كيفية الأدمن الرئيسي راح يرتب هذا الإنترنت للوصول إلى بقية الحواسيب المضيفة. أيضا هنا كيفية شرح كيف تكون الأوامر قوية وشرح مثل هنا. هسه بهذا المثال شلون راح نصل إلى أوامر سيسكو وشلون